This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Welcome in, everyone, to Lively Lewis Stories.
That's right. We're back with even more awesome adventures with Levi and Ivy.
Set your storytime meter to fun and get ready to join the Lively Lewis crew.
All you need is your imagination and...
Off we go! I can't wait to see where our story takes us today.
Have you ever wanted to get more Lively Lewis in your life?
Well, we've got you covered.
Grab an adult and zoom over to livelylewisshop.com.
Or just click on the link in our show notes.
Enough about that. Let's get to today's super Lively Lewis story.
Playing at the park one day, Levi and Ivy decided to have a little race around the playground. They made a starting line, and on the count of 3, they took off making their way around the swings, the rock wall, and the slides. But before they could finish their race, a little boy they had never seen before stepped out in front of them holding his mom's hand. "Oh no," said the little boy as he watched Levi and Ivy tumble to the ground trying to avoid running into him. "That was my fault. I didn't see you coming around the slide." Levi and Ivy just laughed it off as they stood up wiping some dirt from their clothes. "No problem at all," said Levi. "Yeah, don't worry about it," said Ivy. "But we haven't ever seen you playing at the park. Are you new to town? Do you want to play with us?" "I am. My name is Oliver, and this is my mom," said the little boy, never letting go of his mom's hand. It seemed as if he was stuck to her like glue. The nice woman said hello and told Oliver it would be fine if he wanted to play with Levi and Ivy. However, he just shook his head and squeezed her hand tighter. "That's okay," said Ivy. "I'm always a little nervous meeting new people too. But once you get to know someone, you might find out you have a lot in common. Then you can start hanging out with us and playing together. By the way, my name is Ivy, and this is my brother Levi." Levi waved hello, and Oliver gave a little smile to both of them. "Okay, well, I guess I should be going," said Oliver as he took a step back and tried to pull his mom along with him. "No, Oliver, I think it would be great to talk with Levi and Ivy for a minute," said Oliver's mom. Oliver looked nervous, his cheeks got red, and his eyes were pointing down at the ground, but finally he agreed to stay and talk for a bit. Levi and Ivy asked where he had moved to in town and found out it wasn't too far from their house. Then they asked what grade he would be going into at school because he looked to be about their ages. "Maybe you'll be in class with Levi or I," said Ivy with a smile. "All the teachers at our school are great." "Well, I already have a teacher, and I think she's the best," said Oliver, looking up at his mom. What he's trying to say is Oliver is homeschooled, and I'm his teacher, said Oliver's mom with a smile. "Oh, that's so cool. I play baseball with some friends that are homeschooled too." "Well, since we won't see you at school, how about your mom talks to our mom, and we can see about planning a play date at our house soon," suggested Ivy. "That would be great. We'd love to show you our treehouse and the cool forest behind our house," said Levi. "And we could get ice cream from this really great shop in town too. It would be so much fun." Maybe," Oliver said, starting to look a bit more nervous. Oliver's mom could sense that he wanted to leave the situation and asked Levi and Ivy where their mom was sitting at the park. They pointed to a tree where Levi and Ivy's mom was sitting on a bench reading a book. "Great, we'll go introduce ourselves and see about that play date," said Oliver's mom. "Thank you for saying hello and talking for a bit." "Yeah, thank you," said Oliver as he turned and walked away with his mom. "Hope to see you soon, Oliver," called out Levi. "He seemed really nice, but really shy and kind of nervous," said Ivy, "and I noticed he never let go of his mom's hand." "I remember feeling like that when I was younger," said Levi. "I always had to have mom right by my side wherever we went." "Me too," said Ivy. "I always had to make sure I was holding Dad's hand anytime we went shopping or to the park. But as we grew up, we had each other and became more independent. We learned to do things on our own and didn't need Mom and Dad right by our side all the time. I like being more independent and doing things ourselves as we get older. But I also love knowing that Mom and Dad are right there if we need them," added Levi. Levi and Ivy had learned over time that it was important for them to do some things on their own to gain the confidence they needed in life. It was important that they learn to talk to others, voice their opinions, and learn how to solve problems by themselves. And yes, it helped to know that whenever they needed a little advice or a hand to hold, their mom and dad were always there. Levi and Ivy continued to play, but they noticed that Oliver was just sitting with his mom and dad on a picnic blanket playing cards. They wondered why he didn't want to play with them, but quickly moved on because they figured he was just having a family day. Levi and Ivy made sure to say goodbye to Oliver and his family before they left the park. Oliver waved and smiled, but never moved away from his parents. The next day was Sunday, and Levi and Ivy were riding bikes in the neighborhood. As they were riding along the sidewalk, they noticed Oliver, his mom, and dad walking toward them. Levi and Ivy said hello, and Oliver waved, once again never letting go of his mom's hand. "Do you think you may want to come over to our house today, Oliver?" asked Ivy. "We could play in our treehouse," said Levi. Oliver did look a little interested at the thought of exploring their treehouse, but it only took him a few seconds before he told Levi and Ivy that it wouldn't work out. Well, how about if we came with you?" asked Oliver's dad. Oliver smiled and really liked that idea. Levi and Ivy liked it too, so they got off their bikes and walked along with Oliver and his family back to their house. They all went in the backyard where Levi and Ivy's mom and dad sat and talked with Oliver's parents, and Oliver too. He just wouldn't leave their sides. "Hey, Oliver, how about you come down here into the yard?" suggested Levi. "You can still see your parents on the deck and we won't go into the treehouse." Oliver's mom and dad motioned for him to go, letting him know they'd be right here watching and he'd be fine. Oliver was a little hesitant to leave the deck, but he finally did, walking just a few steps away with Levi and Ivy. As Oliver kept turning back to look at his parents, Levi and Ivy asked what they could do to make him feel more comfortable. "Nothing really," said Oliver. "You're already being so nice. Lots of time new kids meet me and think it's strange that I always want to be around my parents. It's just that it makes me feel safe. I mean, what if something happened to me and my parents weren't there? What would I do?" "That's totally a normal feeling, Oliver," said Ivy. "I mean, we're little kids, so of course we're always looking for our parents to help and comfort us. But Levi and I like being just a little independent at our ages so we can figure some things out for ourselves." "She's right," added Levi. "When our parents know we can handle a certain situation, they encourage us to give it a try. But they're also never too far away if we need it. But the really cool thing is the way you feel after you make it through a situation that you thought was scary or solve a problem on your own," said Ivy. "It feels like you're a superhero." "Oh, I love superheroes," exclaimed Oliver. "They're so brave and courageous, nothing makes them nervous." "Well, that's it then. Anytime you feel like there's a situation coming up that you should be able to handle on your own, imagine what your favorite superhero would do," suggested Levi. Oliver smiled, liking that idea, but knowing this new strategy was maybe easier said than done. Levi and Ivy also told Oliver that they could be a support system for him whenever he needed it, just like his parents. Then they came up with an idea that maybe it would be fun to give Oliver some little things to do that were totally safe, but outside of his comfort zone, to see how he reacted to them. Knowing that Levi and Ivy would be by his side, his parents wouldn't be far away, Oliver agreed. Levi and Ivy tried to make it as fun as they could, calling the things they would have Oliver do mini missions. They hoped this fun name would make him feel like a superhero, giving him the confidence to make the activity seem less scary. "We know you're braver than you think," said Levi. "We just need you to know that too." The next day was Monday, and Levi and Ivy said they would meet Oliver at the ice cream shop after school with his parents. However, they told him he had to wait for them to get there before ordering anything to eat. Oliver agreed, and the next day he and his parents walked to the ice cream shop. Oliver had told his parents that Levi and Ivy were trying to help him be more brave so he could do things for himself and not always feel like the only safe place was right there by their sides. Oliver's parents loved this idea and had always tried to help Oliver find his independence. But it was clear that he needed some help from his friends his own age. Oliver stood at the ice cream counter right next to his mom and dad, looking at the different flavors of ice creams as he waited for Levi and Ivy. As soon as they walked in, they said hello and told Oliver a little about their school day. "Wow, that sounds really fun," said Oliver. "Yeah, it would be great if you could join us there someday," said Ivy with a smile. "That would be a big goal to have," said Oliver. "So let's not think about that right now. For now, let's just focus on your first mini mission, which may help you to reach that goal," said Levi. "We want you to order your own ice cream at the counter with us," said Ivy. "Your parents can be sitting right over there, and they can pay when we're done." Oliver immediately looked nervous. His cheeks got red, and he walked back to his parents, telling them what Levi and Ivy had suggested. They thought it was a great idea because Oliver really didn't like talking to new people without his mom and dad by his side. And even then, they had to do most of the talking. "Levi and Ivy will be there with you, Oliver, and Dad and I will be sitting right here," said Oliver's mom. "You'll be absolutely fine. We'd never let you do it if we thought anything else." Oliver looked very nervous at this point, but knew he had a wonderful support team right behind him and by his side. So he took a deep breath and walked back to meet Levi and Ivy at the ice cream counter. They were so proud of him. "Great job, Oliver. You've completed the first step of your mini mission. Now go ahead and order," said Levi. "You know what? I'll go first," said Ivy. "That way you can watch me before you order." Ivy ordered her usual brownie sundae with extra hot fudge, whipped cream, and mini marshmallows, and then stepped aside to let Oliver order. Oliver seemed to freeze for a moment, just staring at the person behind the counter. She smiled at Oliver and asked again what he'd like. Levi and Ivy stood right next to their friend, putting a hand on his shoulders and letting him know he could do this. "Think of how your favorite superhero would handle the situation," whispered Levi with a giggle. That made Oliver smile, and he ordered a chocolate blast milkshake because he thought it sounded most like the ice cream treat that a superhero would order. He was so happy and proud of himself after he made his order that he gave Levi and Ivy a high five. He turned to run back to his parents, but stopped himself before he did it. Instead, he kept standing at the counter with Levi and Ivy. After Levi ordered his ice cream and everyone paid, they all sat down to enjoy their treats. "We're so proud of you, Oliver," said his mom and dad. And Oliver was proud of himself too. In the days that followed, Levi and Ivy created more mini missions for Oliver. And all the time they were right by his side, with his parents not too far away. Some mini missions were making Oliver walk up to a kid in the park that he didn't know and say hello, making Oliver ask a police officer for directions to the comic book store, and even making Oliver ask their neighbor if he could play with their dog. And one after the other, Oliver completed each mini mission. Some were more difficult than others, and some took longer than others to complete. But overall, Oliver did a wonderful job being brave, working towards being more independent and building his self-confidence. A few weeks after they started Oliver's mini missions, Levi and Ivy had Oliver and his family over for a cookout. They all sat in the backyard talking and eating cheeseburgers when Levi and Ivy suggested that Oliver finally come up and check out their treehouse. This was a big mini mission for Oliver since he would be pretty far from his parents and in a new place he didn't know. But as Oliver was thinking over Levi and Ivy's invitation, this thought popped into his head. What would my favorite superhero do right now? Treehouses were fun, exciting, and so cool. Sitting high above the backyard, they could probably see for miles, and Oliver was sure they had some pretty cool toys up there too. I think my favorite superhero would say yes to exploring the treehouse with my friends. So I'm going to do that too, said Oliver. Then he asked his mom and dad if he could go off and play with Levi and Ivy. They could have not been more excited. He was showing his independence and just how brave he could be. Have a great time, buddy, called out his dad as Oliver stood up in the treehouse ladder. Just be careful and listen to Levi and Ivy. He'll be okay, shouted back Levi as the kids disappeared into the treehouse. Once inside, Oliver couldn't believe his eyes. It was even cooler than he could have ever imagined. I can't believe I've been missing all of this for the last few weeks, said Oliver. Just think about all the other fun things I'm missing by not allowing myself to experience safe and fun new things with great friends like you. That's a great attitude to have, Oliver, said Ivy. And since we know your parents are here to make sure you're safe, we always tell them what we're doing before we do it. That way they can tell us if it's safe or what we need to do to make sure it's safe. But sometimes they come along with us to teach us as we go, said Levi. Like that time I wanted to learn to surf. It would have been totally unsafe for me to just jump in an ocean on a surfboard by myself, but instead I worked with my dad. I'm getting more and more confident on my board every day. That makes me feel really excited, not scared or uncomfortable. Yep, independence builds your self-confidence, especially when you know you have a great support team behind you, said Ivy. And it makes you feel like a superhero, cheered Oliver before Ivy could finish her sentence. Oliver had a huge smile on his face, and he felt so proud of all he had accomplished since meeting Levi and Ivy. Thank you both so much for your help, said Oliver. I'm thinking that maybe I could ask my parents about joining your school, sooner rather than later. That would be amazing, said Levi. We could play together at recess, introduce you to a bunch of cool kids we know, and eat lunch together every day. Then Levi turned to Ivy and said, I think we need to celebrate this incredible moment with something incredible. How about we make up a secret handshake, said Ivy. One that you, me, and Oliver can do anytime we're feeling unsure, nervous, or scared of a situation. When we do that handshake, we'll remember this moment and how we're braver than we think and that we can accomplish great things together. That sounds amazing, said Oliver. The three friends then created the coolest secret handshake ever. From that day forward, Oliver never looked back. He faced every day with confidence and bravery, ready to take on any situation that came his way. Like a superhero. And since every superhero has a sidekick, or four, Oliver kept his favorite sidekicks, Levi, Ivy, and his mom and dad close by his side. Not just so they could help him when he needed it, but so that they could watch the independent, confident, and brave kiddo he was becoming. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the story and learned a little something too.
And since we know everyone has their own story, we'd love to hear yours.
If you have an idea for a Lively Lewis story, leave a comment on our Apple Podcast review page with 5 stars, your idea, and your little one's name.
Then maybe our next adventure will be with you.
Until our next Storytime Hangout.
Thanks for listening. We can't wait to share another fun Lively Lewis story with you.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.